Hi, welcome back to a new episode of the Guys Book Club in the Board Book Club. Yeah. Wait a second. And today, guys, today, I just locked the door. Today, guys, we are on extremely special episode because today, guys, we are on episode number 298, guys. 200, can you get it? Can you get it, guys? 298 episodes. Damn. Just damn. So many episodes, guys. So many episodes. I'm so happy about it. And you know that special episode is going to come in 2 days, guys. 2 days, today, tomorrow, and then is the episode. 300 episodes, guys. Yeah, it's a huge achievement, guys. Big achievement. So, guys, if you're on the channel, welcome. If you're not on the channel, welcome back. My name is Zach, I'm the host. And guys, I'm aware of the fact that sometimes it might be challenging to speak in English. Sometimes it might be how to be on the camera. But I truly believe that English is the number one tool that is one of us must take one of the basic stuff in life. And the second tool that is going to personality is not taking care of the camera. And if you take the two skills and you combine them together, you can get content to the internet and influence billions of people around the world. So it's definitely, I recommend to work on those skills, to get through these fields, just get through these obstacles and just work on your stuff. And because of that, because I'm aware of it, I opened the podcast, and what I'm doing with the podcast is I'm trying to inspire the people, maybe you, like you, the lady and gentlemen are watching the podcast, you. I try to inspire you to do the same, to also work on English and to be on the camera. And I'm doing so by sharing with you guys my own journey. Ladies and gentlemen, my journey become a master in English speaking and reading, and to master communicator on the camera. And I think that by sharing with you guys my own struggles, my failures, the success, the obstacles that I'm facing during the journey, my challenges that I'm facing, overcome them. I've inspired the people to do the same, to also work on English. So, and I hope it will inspire you. And today, guys, to celebrate this almost 300 special episode, we got a good friend of mine, Shana, Shokugano Shana. It's a great anime. I saw this anime, and I really love the anime. And Shana, she's a savage. She's a pure savage. So definitely recommend to watch this anime, Shokugano Shana. I really enjoy this anime. And guys, if you want to check out channel, you know, you can find them on free. 2, 1, Kabam, you can find them on Good Fun. And this is great background upload to Good Fun. Banana Dozen, Tambabashi. First time on the channel, Tambabashi. So I use Tambabashi. Well, first time in 2015, and it's downloaded 858 times. So yeah, it's savage. And of course, we like it because we like channel, we like the podcast, and we like the background, and we want to say thank you to the artist who made this. And guys, if you want to do, if you want to download the picture, just need to choose the resolution from here. Press download. Right, click on the picture. Why is that I don't have? Okay. We got internet. Right click on the picture, שמירת עונות בשם. הנה בוא עושה picture as in English, and type down in comment below you want it in your language. Press on it. Choose the one to save it. You got internet. Choose the one to save it. Press save and comment just like that. You will get this grand background on the computer. So thank you very much for the artist who made this grand background. Thank you very much for Tamabashi for sharing this great background, for sharing this great background with us. And today, guys, today we continue our journey with your next 5 moves of Patrick David, chapter 14. Learn from the mapstones. And I want to learn about Patrick David. He's in the middle of a very important sit down with a huge insurance company. And he uses what he learned from the mapstones. And I really want to know how it's ends. So guys, if you want to check out this great background with Shana, if you want to check out the great book, Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick David, Masters Art of Business Strategy, or if you want to check out Patrick David's social media account, that he knows that I highly recommend to check them out because he shares so much knowledge on his social media accounts, and he's definitely recommend to check them out. You got all the links in the description below, so make sure to check them out and like them. And then, guys, if anyone with any suggestion for making improve myself on the podcast, or if anyone wants to come to the podcast, then the podcast, show me about this part about like a difference between, and just have a great time with me in English because I'm a nice guy. Please let me know in the comment below, so so we can arrange it. And guys, of course, guys, feel free. Also, if you hear this some nice quote from this podcast, maybe something that I said or from the book, maybe you read some nice quote from another place, so you heard it from someone that you appreciate, or maybe you have your own life lessons that you want to share with us that you think that can enrich your life. Of course, guys, feel free to do it in a comment below, so all of us can enrich our life and improve our life thanks to your wisdom. So thank you very much. And one thing, guys, before we jump into the book, if you enjoy the podcast, if you enjoy the journey, and if you learn something new from the channel, please consider to show your support by liking the video, sharing with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and put an application bell so if you're notified, and push that notification bell so you're notified on each of the extremely exciting episodes I come to YouTube, and now it's going to be 5 extremely exciting episodes per week. And you know that the special episodes are coming really soon, and you know that you want to be the first one that's watching it, because the moment that the episode is going to release, there is going to be so much traffic, so much people want to go to see it that the internet is going to shut down. So make sure to be the first one that get see it before the internet is shut down. That's going to be saved. So guys, if you can consider to do it, it really can help me a lot. So thank you very much, and shout out to my two subscribers. And my 255 total views out of 283 episodes that released. Damn, we have a 14 episode. We are more than 13 episodes. Let's see. I need to see how many episodes I got. How many episodes I got? So yeah. So now, guys, let's jump to the book. So, Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick by David Masters Art of Business Strategy, Chapter 14, page 219 to 283. Please, but it's the legend of Vanna is the man saying, give us a drum, please. Give us a drum, please. Give us a drum, please. So, boy, okay, yeah. Let's go. That's me. Two. He's continuing with his list of how he prepared for the. David continuing with his list of how he prepared for the sit down with the biggest, or one of the biggest insurance company in the world. Two. Anticipate what the other party will say. Think about how a shrewd attorney crafts an argument. He first has to consider what the other party will say. The more you can anticipate what the other party will say and why, the better you can craft your story or request. 3. Develop a script/outline for what you want to say. And when I said slash, I don't know what you said, but it's this line, like this. Word, and line. Let's start this line. In Hebrew, we said slash. No, slash. I think it's slash in English. I started out with pages of notes. As I continued to practice, I was able to become more precise about my message. How you prepare depends on your style. Some speakers like to write out the entire speech, and some simply need bullet points. I prefer bullet points. I also prefer bullet points. 4. Also when I shot a video for my Instagram, just on TikTok, I need to go to do also on TikTok. Most of the time, I have a bullet point, just scheduled. I told to say, but I don't have word to word. 4. And we added in my when we had a program in the radio, we made a radio show in some of the courses in the university, שידורי radio, and I had like script. It's nice, it's help you, but I prefer a bullet point. It depends on the times that I have to prepare. If you have a lot of time, so bullet point. If not, so maybe script or something. I need to see. 4. Role play is a meeting several times in order to be prepared for different reactions. The next step was to assemble a team and ask them to play the roles of the executives I was going to be meeting in the Simon Iceland. Stepping into the shoes of those executives, they asked questions and they challenged me. As a result, I modified my script and was prepared for different reactions. 5. Ask trusted advisors to point out your blind spots. Much of this was handled during role plays. To take it to another level, I asked the opinion of trusted peers outside my industry to make sure I didn't have any blind spots. 6. Put yourself into the best possible frame of mind before the meeting. Every detail before I arrived at the meeting mattered. I flew in a day early, so I would be rested and I didn't have any fear of a delayed flight, making me late. The way I addressed what I ate and my exercise routine were all part of putting me into the right frame of mind. Visualizing the success of the meeting and my business was also a critical step. 7. Build a reputation for over-delivering on your promises. None of the above matters if you don't do what you are going to do. The worst thing you want in business is to have a reputation as someone who does a lot of talking but rarely delivers. Since I was so committed to understanding the situation from their viewpoint, I became keenly aware of my company's flaws and the areas in which it needed to improve. To address those flaws and demonstrate how we were going to correct them, I arrived at the meeting with a stack of data to bolster my argument. I had a 10-point plan prepared and ready to go. 6 of those points were about the other company, and 4 were about mine. As I suggested earlier, when you have a sit-down, you want to spend the majority of time focusing on the other party's concerns, not yours. I went into the room and said, listen, here's what you want, based on what you told me the last time we met. This is what makes you unhappy, and this is what we are going to fix. If you do what I am proposing, you won't have to hire additional people. I have already made a call to a supplier of systems, and I know you are interested in buying the system. And they will charge you a fee of $1 million. I give this company a lot of business, and I convinced them to waive the fee. Dang. I was able to deliver the message with confidence and clarity because I had rehearsed it over and over. Wait a second, you might be thinking. I thought you went in there to increase your compensation. Why in the world do you start by telling them you are effectively giving them $1 million? A simple rule of business is that in order to get, you have to give. Most amateurs are experts at making demands. What they fail to do is offer value first. When you put yourself into the other party's shoes and lead with how they will win and make money, it will be natural for them to give you what you want. And to remember in my interview about the new job that I want. I then pitched them on providing us with a compensation increase based on the data I had gathered. Data that showed why the increase was warranted. If you say no to it, no problem. I have another company that I think will give us what we want. Do you have any questions? They had many. We went back and forth for 2.5 hours. In fact, I had already heard some questions, objections, and challenges. How is this possible? Because I had role played, like a Grandmaster CEO who is always several steps ahead. I was able to lead them to where I wanted them to be because I had anticipated the moves. Damn. In The Godfather, Don Vito Corleone, played by Marlon Brando, featured the classic line, I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. He can't refuse. In this case, the offer was a win-win agreement. In this case, the offer was a win-win agreement with a win-win agreement that increased the value of both of our businesses. With the data I presented, of course, they couldn't refuse. The key to my success, it was the work I had done before the sit-down began. Title: Effective sales are about conviction and the transference of feeling. Even though this chapter is about the mafia, it wouldn't be complete without some wisdom from the legendary Zig Ziglar. Before he died in 2012, at age 86, he might have been the most influential sales trainer in the world. He told a powerful story about one of his co-workers. He told a powerful story about one of his cookware sales reps who was in a slump. When Ziegler asked him why he wasn't selling, the salesman read off a list of reasons. Times were tough, and the cookware was expensive. Zig then asked him if he owned a set of the cookware that he sold to others. The salesman said no. When Zig asked why, the salesman told him that he couldn't afford it, especially since he was in a slump. Zig asked questions. He listened. He emphasized. In the art of arts, Zig believed that the cookware was a worthwhile investment. After all, he owned it himself. He understood that it was expensive, but he had internalized all its benefits. As with any investment, there was an upfront cost. As with any smart investment, Zig truly believes that it more than paid for itself. Zig listened to these salesmen's objections, and although there were valid reasons for the salesman not to buy the cookware he was trying to sell, Zig truly believed that this man's life would be much better with it. After ringing him out and overcoming every single objection, the salesman eventually bought the cookware. It turned out to be the ultimate power move. During his next presentation to a potential customer, the salesman earned all the usual excuses. As Zig had done with him a few days earlier, the salesman asked questions, listened, and emphasized. The difference, because he had bought the cookware himself, was that he believed so strongly in its value that he would not let those people make a bad decision. He truly felt that they would be better off with the cookware than with the money it cost. He hadn't learned any fancy sales tricks or manipulative tactics. He had simply changed the way he felt. Sure enough, he made a sale that night and went on to become one of the company's top performers. Once he believed in the product enough to buy it himself, his slump was over. I will leave it to Zig to tell you the moral of the story. Quote, have an absolute and total belief that what you are selling is worth more than the price you ask for it. Your belief in your product should be so great that you OUGHT to be using it. End of the quote. Remember that the gift to gab is overrated. What is underrated is a conviction. Since emotion and belief are what truly sells, I are people who believe in both themselves and the company. With that integrity, that passion to be of service, they can get up in front of any audience, large or small, and talk to them with conviction about what we do. Sales should feel effortless, like a natural extension of who you are. It should excite you to talk about what you do. Estee Lauder co-founded the cosmetic company that made her the only woman on Time Magazine's list of the 20 most influential business titans of the 20th century. Once said, I have never worked a day in my life without selling. If I believe in something, I sell it, and I sell it hard. I sell it hard. Despite what some people would have you believe. No one is born a salesperson. Stop trying to find naturals. Rather than looking for salespeople, look for people who believe in your vision and want to build relationships. They might not be social butterflies. They might not be social butterflies. In fact, some of the most outgoing, magnetic, and influential people I know, are honest to goodness introverts. Having influence isn't about selling anything to anyone, or convincing people to act against their own best interests. Selling is about believing in yourself, believing in your business, and believing in the value you can offer, and believing in the value you can offer to the other people, to the other person, whether a potential customer, a key vendor, or a major industry figure. If you believe in what you are selling, if you are operating from your heart and gut, and if you're operating from your heart and gut, and not your head, if you believe in a win-win outcome for every negotiation, if you believe deep down that you can be of service to that other person, the networking, negotiation, and sales will all become second nature to you. Again, if you believe deep down that you can be of service of that other person, the networking, negotiation, and sales will all become second nature to you. Title: Negotiation is about leverage. Whoever has more leverage in a negotiation should come out on top. However, it's not always obvious who has the leverage. For one, as much as you prefer, you can never know exactly everything that is going on with the other party. Ultimately, the important things turn down the air condition. Ultimately, the important thing is to understand the leverage and know how to gain power from that leverage. If you use too much leverage and overplay your end to maximize your profit from a particular deal, you might win the battle, but lose the war. The late Amir Slim, a gambling legend and the 1972 World Series of Poker champion, said, "You can shear a sheep 100 times, but you can skin it only once." Even a hustler like Slim recognized that the key to a long career is treating people in such a way that they want to keep doing business with you. In any game, the goal is not to make a score. It's to build a partnership in which both parties make scores make scores in perpetuity. Early in my career, I rarely had leverage. What made me an effective negotiator was not pretending otherwise. In other words, I didn't feel a need to bluff. Instead, I would structure deals so that the other party could minimize its risk, thereby making the deal much more enticing to them. In the short term, it often meant I was getting the vote of the deal. Because I was thinking several moves ahead, however, I asked for deal points that would improve the deal if we hit certain markets, while still enriching the other party. Because I was viewed as being fair, I was able to build long-term partnerships. In the early days of my agency, a guy named David came to me with a proposition for licensing his software. He asked me to negotiate with other insurance companies on his behalf. He knew that the more people who used this product, the more it would ultimately make my business more efficient. Because this software was best in class, and something he knew I needed, he pushed the envelope. In addition to asking for my help with other companies, he wanted me to pay $50,000 to license the software. Since the retail price was slightly more, he pitched it to me as though he were doing me a favor. I thought David had a lot of nerve trying to sell me the product and leverage my contacts in the business. But just as a grandmaster doesn't tip off his future moves, I stayed quiet. The reality is that I did need the software, and given our cash positions given our cash position, I was happy to get a discount. Plus, even though David was seemingly asking me for a favor, it would also benefit my business if other companies use the same software we did. David pitched it as a win-win, and there was plenty of validity to that claim. Truth be told, if all our partners adopt the software at the time, we knew we could significantly reduce processing time on contacts. You know how I feel about speed. And significantly reduce our labor cost. And guys, guess what? This is the end of the episode. So guys, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate the fact that you choose to invest your time with me. And I really hope that you learn something new for the channel. Shana! And guys, I can't wait to see you all tomorrow, guys, for the next episode. The extremely exciting episode of the Guys Book Club in the World. The one is the last episode before the 300 special of the Guys Book Club in the World, the AK Book Club. Until then, have a great time. Take care of yourself and bye. Hey guys, we finished. To record 4 episodes. And we're on schedule, and the time now is 19:06. And today is the 2nd of February 2022. And yeah, I finished the test. I have one more test, and I'm going to learn it next week. This weekend I take a time off. Enjoy back in my family and friends. My cousin is coming to visit me tomorrow, and we're going to play League of Legends. And we are going to have a great time. And that's it, guys. In 9, I have a night home. So now I'm going to pray and work on my other stuffs. So, thank you very much and bye. יאללה, יום רביעי השני לשני 2022, שעה עכשיו 7 דקות בערב, סיימנו להקליט 4 פרקים, סיימנו את הכל, יופי, מבסוט. הייתה החלטה חכמה לפי דעתי, לא לנסוע באוטובוס ולבוא לבית, נשאר כאן. לקחת את זה ב9, נתן בדיוק את הזמן. עם הדברים, כל פעם שאני מגיע לבית, נבוא לבית, ונהנה. נראה מה נעשה, עכשיו נעשה עוד שיר של לא כל חוג עכשיו איך להתפלל, נמשיך את היום.